All right. Time to jump into another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be looking at building an email list on a budget.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, you're trying to grow that audience, maybe for marketing, maybe just to connect, but those costs can get pretty crazy, right?
Absolutely.
It feels overwhelming.
It can be a lot.
But luckily, you found us some really great research here.
Yeah.
From MMOamerica.com.
I love this one.
And they compare some tools that are surprisingly affordable.
It's amazing what you can do without spending a fortune these days.
Right.
Yeah, this analysis focuses on two tools in particular.
Okay.
A social media scraper with a one-time cost of just $79.
Wow.
And then a bulk email send-in tool from NLE that starts at $75 a month.
Okay.
For 100,000 emails.
Okay, so that price difference definitely caught my attention there.
Yeah.
Let's start with the scraper.
Okay.
How does that even work? Like, how does it get me emails?
This scraper will basically scan social media profiles and extract publicly available data, including email addresses.
Oh, okay.
It can be a really quick way to gather a lot of contacts.
Okay, so that sounds almost too easy, right?
It does sound easy, but
yeah.
there are some caveats.
Okay, what's the catch?
One thing to keep in mind is that the quality of data can vary.
Oh, okay.
Not all scraping tools are created equal. Some will give you much more accurate and up-to-date information than others.
So how do I even know
It's tricky.
if I'm getting good data? What should our listener be looking out for?
Well, always a good idea to do your research.
Okay.
You want to look for reviews, testimonials, case studies from other users, and just see what they have to say
Gotcha.
about the accuracy and the reliability of that data.
Cool. Good advice.
Yeah.
And what about the cost comparison here?
Okay.
Because the source really emphasizes the long-term savings of a one-time purchase like this scraper.
Yeah, absolutely. Think about it like this.
Okay.
You're investing in a valuable asset. You pay once,
Right.
and you have it forever.
Okay.
Now compare that to subscription-based tools like Phantom Buster, which starts at $59 a month.
Wow.
Or even Zopto, which can cost you as much as $215 a month.
See, those monthly fees, I always think about that. They
Yeah.
really add up.
They do. They do.
So even though that initial investment for the scraper might seem a little higher, it's actually going to save you so much money over time.
Exactly, especially if you're planning to build and maintain that email list for a long time.
It's like the long game.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Long game.
Okay, this is all really interesting, but I got to admit, I get a little wary of scraping.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there are some ethical considerations there.
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Okay, good.
It's really important to use any scraping tools responsibly and ethically.
Okay.
Always make sure you're complying with the terms of service
of
whatever platform you're scraping from.
Right, right.
And, you know, just because you can scrape data doesn't necessarily mean that you should.
Right. It's about that balance
Okay.
of using these tools effectively while still respecting people's privacy.
Absolutely.
Okay, now speaking of effectiveness, the source mentions that this scraper might not have built-in email validation.
That's right.
Why is that important?
Email validation is crucial for making sure that the email addresses that you've collected are actually valid and deliverable.
Oh, okay.
If you're sending emails to invalid addresses, you can hurt your sender reputation.
Okay.
Which can negatively impact your deliverability rates.
So it's like maintaining a good credit score.
Yeah, kinda.
But for email.
Yeah, good analogy.
I like that.
Keep your email credit score high.
Exactly. All right, so what are our options if the scraper doesn't actually include EMIS validation?
Well, you could consider using a separate email validation service. There are actually quite a few options available.
Oh, cool.
Like Snuv.io and LeadLeaper.
Okay.
These tools can really help you identify and remove any invalid addresses from your list, and that'll improve your chances of reaching real people's inboxes.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So far, we've learned about the cost savings of social media scraping, but also the importance of data quality and email validation.
It all goes hand in hand.
Yeah. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about actually getting those emails out to people.
Okay, let's do it.
What can you tell us about this bulk email send-in tool from NLE?
So from a cost perspective, this NLE tool looks really promising.
Okay.
You know, the source didn't really delve deep into the exact pricing structure, but it's marketed as a budget-friendly option.
Okay.
Especially for sending large volumes of emails.
That's good.
And if it is a one-time purchase like the scraper, then we're talking potentially major savings here.
Especially when you compare it to
those monthly subscription services.
For sure.
You know, the research mentioned Amazon SES, SendGrid, Elastic Email, which can cost anywhere from like $24 to over $99 each month for sending 100,000 emails.
Those costs can really stack up.
That adds up quickly.
Yeah.
So the NLE tool, it sounds like a real game changer for anyone on a tight budget.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But the source also mentions that some scraping tools actually need to be integrated with an external bulk email service.
Right.
What does that mean for our listener?
Yeah, so essentially that's adding another layer of complexity and potentially additional costs. You might have to pay for both the scraping tool and then a separate bulk email service.
Okay.
And then, of course, you got to figure out how to connect them and make sure that they're working together seamlessly.
That sounds like a bit of a headache.
It can be a little bit of a technical hurdle, yeah.
Okay, so is there anything else that our listeners should keep in mind
when comparing these different tools?
Yeah, I think we should talk about scalability for a moment.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Because it's really important to consider how these tools are going to handle your needs as your email list grows.
Okay, so when we talk about scalability, are we talking about how easily a tool can adapt to changes in volume?
Yeah.
Like if it gets bigger, more complex?
Exactly.
Okay.
So the one-time purchase tools like the scraper and that NLE bulk email sender are inherently scalable from a pricing standpoint.
Okay.
You're not going to be hit with increase in fees as your list grows.
That's a big plus.
That's a huge advantage.
But are there any downsides to using those one-time purchase tools in terms of scalability?
So they might lack some of the advanced features that you would find in the subscription services.
Okay.
So features like automated drip campaigns, in-depth list segmentation, or sophisticated integration with CRM systems could be limited.
Okay.
Or just absent altogether.
All right. So if you anticipate need in those advanced features down the line, it might actually be worth considering a subscription service from the get-go.
That's right.
Even if it means that higher initial cost.
Yeah. It's all about weighing those pros and cons. And just choosing the best fit for your specific needs.
Giggles. I like it. All right. This has been super insightful.
Good. I'm glad.
It seems like there's some really great budget-friendly options out there.
Yeah.
But it's important to be aware of those potential trade-offs.
For sure.
And really choose the tools that align with your long-term vision.
It's all about the long game, remember?
Long game.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I completely agree.
Okay.
There's no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to building an email list. It really is about finding that right balance between cost, features, and your own unique requirements.
I like that.
And that brings us to a really interesting question.
Okay.
What are some of the potential downsides